Okay, I avoid talking about the war in Ukraine. I avoid talking about it. And the reason I avoid talking about it is I have absolutely no idea who's telling the truth. I don't have a side in that fucking war. I don't have a horse in that race. And the reason that I don't bother with it is during any war, literally any war in history, both sides lie. It's called propaganda, right? We had things like the Ghost of Kiev, and we had that apparently a farmer shot down a jet with a fucking musket gun and all that. That's propaganda. You know, the brave war stories like Vasily Zaitsev, who managed to fucking snipe 826 Nazi officers, fucking blindfolded, firing from behind while doing downward dog yoga position bullshit, right? That fucking nonsense, right? Whenever there is two countries at war, any information that either of their two sides produce is two liars trying to see who can tell the most convincing lie, which is why I do not cover the war. However, something major has happened, which obviously I need to cover now. Nord Stream. The Ukraine accuses Russia of the pipeline terror attack. Now, for those of you that don't know, the Nord Stream is a undersea pipe that pipes natural gas and what have you from Russia through the Baltic Sea to Germany. Right, so it's a big pipeline that pumps all that stuff to Germany. So it starts in Russia, ends in Germany. Ukraine has accused Russia of causing leaks in two major gas pipelines to Europe in what it described as a terrorist attack. Ukrainian presidential advisor Mikhailo Podolyak said that the damage to Nord Stream 1 and 2 was an act of aggression towards the EU. He added that Russia wanted to cause pre-winter panic and urged the EU to increase military support for Ukraine. Seismologists reported underwater blasts before the leaks emerged. There is no doubt that these were explosions, says Bjorn Lund of Sweden's National Seismology Centre, as quoted by local media. The operators of Nord Stream 2 warned of a loss of pressure in the pipeline on Monday afternoon. That led to a warning from Danish authorities that ships should avoid the area near the island of Bornholm. The operator of Nord Stream 1 said the undersea lines had simultaneously sustained unprecedented damage in one day. Denmark's Defence Command has released footage of the leaks, which shows bubbles at the surface of the Baltic Sea near the island. The largest patch of sea disturbance is 1 kilometre in diameter. Fucking hell. Gas leak from NS1 is nothing more than a terrorist attack planned by Russia and an act of aggression towards the EU. Russia wants to destabilise the economic situation in Europe and cause pre-winter panic. Ukraine's Mr. Podolyak tweeted in English. He also called on European partners, particularly Germany, to increase military support for Ukraine. The best response and security investments are tanks for Ukraine, especially German ones, he said. You know, shopping around for the types that he wants. Other European leaders have raised the idea that the damage to the pipelines was deliberately inflicted. Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, blamed it on sabotage and says that it was probably linked to the war in Ukraine. Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen says it was too early to come to conclusions, but that it was hard to imagine the multiple leaks could be a coincidence. At the same time, unconfirmed reports in German media said that authorities were not ruling out an attack on the undersea gas network. A Kremlin spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, said he was extremely concerned about the incident and the possibility of a deliberate attack could not be ruled out. The EU has previously accused Russia of using a reduction in gas supplies as an economic weapon in response to European sanctions imposed because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. However, Moscow denies this, saying the sanctions have made it impossible to maintain the gas infrastructure properly. Now, we'll get in. I'll save it for the end. I'll save it for the end. Whatever the cause of the damage, it will not, in fact, in case any of you want to see, there you are. There's where it runs from Russia all the way down to Germany. Whatever the cause of the damage, it will not immediately affect the supply of gas to Europe, as neither pipeline was operational. The Nord Stream 1 pipeline, which consists of two parallel branches, has not transported any gas since August when Russia closed it down for maintenance. It stretched 745 miles under the Baltic Sea from the Russian coast near St. Petersburg to northeastern Germany. Its twin pipeline, Nord Stream 2, was halted after the Russian invasion of Ukraine began. Although neither pipeline is in operation, they both still contain gas. German, Danish, and Swedish authorities are all investigating the incidents. The Danish Energy Authority told Reuters news agency that the leak could continue for several days and perhaps even a week. The pipeline's operators, Nord Stream AG, said it was impossible to estimate when the system's infrastructure would be restored. Energy prices have soared since Moscow invaded Ukraine, and scarce supplies could push up costs even further. There are growing fears that families in the EU will be unable to afford the cost of heating this winter. Poland is leading the effort to curb reliance on Russia, once Europe's main energy supplier, with the inauguration of a new gas pipeline. The Baltic Pipe will be a new link for Norwegian gas to Europe, which will allow countries to the south of Poland, including Slovakia and the Czech Republic, to access it. Okay, now, I use this phrase a lot, but this glows right now. People are accusing it and saying it's Russia. Russia did this. Russia did this to like its own pipeline. However, the end of the pipeline is in Russia. If they didn't want people to have it, they'll just shut the tap, right? Because that is Russia's big play, right? This is just me spitballing here. That's Russia's big play. We will shut the fucking pipes down. If you keep sending Ukraine money, blah, 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 we will shut the fucking pipes down. We've got the tap on our end. It comes from us. We'll switch it the fuck off, right? That was one of Russia's ace in the holes, right? So there was no need whatsoever for Russia to go down and bomb the fucking pipes. They could have just went, aye, fuck you then, and turned the tap, and that's it, switched off. But loads of places are trying to say it's Russia, because I've seen some people come out and say that the only way that such an attack would be carried out is if you had the equivalent of a submarine or Navy SEALs. Right, it's military, highly trained individuals have to go down to the ocean floor and plant explosives. Right, that's like, no standard person has that, and Russia wouldn't need to do that because they control the fucking on-off switch. Right, but now Russia has, if Russia did this, they've just fucked their own ace in the hole. It's a case of, well, you couldn't give us the gas anyway, the pipes are fucked. So there goes it. You know, nobody gets the fucking gas now, right? So as for Russia doing this to itself, it doesn't make sense. However, if I was a country that did not like Russia, if I was a country that didn't like Russia very much, and I wanted to get rid of Russia. I wanted to fight. I wanted to invade. Wanted to do all that stuff because Russia has been a thorn in my side for a very, very long time. However, Russia's very strong. It's a very big country. So I might need some help. So what I would maybe do is send in a team to blow up the pipeline, which would end up fucking over all of Europe. And making all of Europe very angry, making the people very upset, having their homes freezing and have them being poor because they can't pay their bills, having old women, freezing to death in their houses and stuff like that. And then I would blame Russia for that. And I would make all of Europe very, very, very angry against Russia. So that when the time came, all of Europe would have my back. And probably even help. This is a tinfoil hat moment, right? I'm just saying people are blaming Russia, but I could be completely fucking wrong here. This is just me spitballing. It could be Russia, but it doesn't make sense for Russia to do it since Russia was literally in control of the on-off switch, right? It was their ace in the hole. It was a bargaining chip they had. They now no longer have that bargaining chip. I don't understand why they would do that to themselves. But it makes more sense for someone else to do it and make it look like it was Russia so that they could sort of have approval for other stuff that's probably going to happen in the future by canned food.